Hi, how's it going? So I just want to talk about this book. This book is Retire Young, Retire Rich by Robert Kiyosaki. And of his books, this is one of my absolute favorites. I like it because it's very, very simple to read, simple to understand, and mainly because it focuses on something that I really like and that I really enjoy, that it talks about leverage. So, so Retire Young and Retire Rich is written with the perspective of explaining what leverage is and how it works. The whole book is just about this concept, this mental concept called leverage. So the first book in the series is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then he goes on to explain the concept of cash flow. Cash flow being the basis of the assets and the businesses that he's acquiring and starting. In this book, he's talking about the second most important concept, which is leverage. So leverage is a tool that is used to do something with less. So leverage is any idea, method, tool, practice, philosophy, anything at all that can make you do more with less. So when we explain leverage, it's just like having a lever and lifting a rock with the lever as opposed to lifting a rock with your hands. So leverage is very important in that aspect, and it's one thing that gives businesses their edge, and that makes rich people richer. So when he's explaining this whole concept, he's talking about it in relation to cash flow and how this should be the most important consideration that you make when you want to grow your business. So leverage is found in different ways. So here in this book, he talks about the different types of leverage. So just to put it in perspective, what leverage is just any idea or any concept, any philosophy, or anything at all that will give you an advantage to do more with less. So the most important leverage that we have is health. So your health is your leverage. So you can leverage your health and your well-being in order to do greater things. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And you should check out The Way to Wealth by Benjamin Franklin. So another thing that you should leverage is your time. How you use your time is the greatest leverage of all, because the way that you use your time is the way that your life is going to be used. And Machiavelli said something interesting. Yeah, I'm quoting Machiavelli, but he said something interesting that the hourglass of time, once the sands are passing down and going to the other side, you should be able to see more clearly. You should be able to see clearer, I should say. So that is the leverage of time. How you're spending your time, how you're building your time. So this also ties in with the leverage of habits. So these habits are patterns that you follow subconsciously that lead you towards a predetermined position. So you have to notice the habits that you're using and how they actually affect you. And habits is one of the greatest leverages that you have, and this affects your time. This affects your health. Another leverage is your relationships. So the people that you're with, birds of a feather flock together. And countless times Warren Buffett has said that my greatest asset has been the people that are surrounding me. And if you listen to Charlie Munger, you'll know what he's talking about. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger are just like two sides of the same coin. Sometimes they even sound the same. But I like Charlie Munger a lot because he's so wise. And I like Warren Buffett a lot. He's so witty. But their presence in each other's life has actually contributed a lot to both of their success. So, so you also have the leverage of relationships, and the greatest leverage that you have in a relationship is the person you actually marry, your spouse. He says in this book, Retire Young, Retire Rich, that it's close to impossible, nearly impossible. It's extremely hard for a person to be rich if the husband or the wife does not want to be rich as well. So in his life, Kim, his wife, has been one of the backbones of his success. Behind every powerful woman, right? Behind every powerful man. Yeah, maybe even behind every powerful woman. Everything is linked to that ultimate leverage. So you have to lever. You have to do that consciously. You have to enter your marriage with that in mind. And another leverage is your education. So your education and how you continuously seek more information and more knowledge will be one of the greatest leverage just that you ever have, because what you know is exactly what you're going to do. Leverage is power, but truly how you use your knowledge as leverage is the power. Just having knowledge is not going to give you power. Just having leverage does not give you power. But having leverage in itself means that you have some type of knowledge. So another type of leverage that you have is obviously your money, how you use your money and how you lever it up. But I'm not going to dwell on this one too much because we already know that money is that form of leverage. But another type of leverage that is very important is the tools, the different tools that we have. So one of the tools that we have is, say, the internet. So this is an ultimate form of leverage that you can actually use in order to do more with less in any type of way that you can decide. So at the end of the day, the greatest leverage is found in your mind. So leverage is everywhere. So it's only about how you see the things around you and how they relate to you. So when you have an idea, when you have anything that you want to do, you have to be able to use it as a tool. And this is going to be mentally activated. So it's all about your creativity. This is why trading, investing, building businesses, these are all creative enterprises. Someone could see the same thing that you see, but not see what you see because of your own creativity. So it's all about how you decide to create the leverage. So in the book, there's a story about a woman who bought this piece of land for 50 grand, and she saw something in it, but a lot of people just thought it was worthless land, so she bought it for 50,000. But then when she bought it, she went and got it rezoned so that she could build a hotel on this piece of land. So people just thought it was a wasteland, but what she saw was a perfect spot for a hotel. And then from 50 grand, she made 6 million. Okay, that's a true story in the book. So this is another form of leverage, that you see something that someone else can't see. You can even see someone in something. You know, a person who trained Michael Jordan, for example, was leveraging that because he saw that in his mind. So this is a form of leverage that you have to be adjusted to seeing. So he speaks about the leverage of the mind being the most important aspect, and this is what I also agree with, that you have to get content, you have to build a context, and this will determine your capacity. So the content is what you put inside, and the context is what contains that content. So building your context is very important, which means that some people are not able to believe certain things. They're not able to conceive certain things because their context is so small. Some people just believe that they can't afford something. They can't understand how to trade stocks, that they can't understand this and that. And this is their context. So they can't have more content in that type of context because they've already determined their capacity. So you have to consistently learn more and build more. So one of the greatest tools of your leverage are your words. So your words give you the greatest leverage because through these words you're able to build a deeper, a greater context and a greater capacity. So the greatest word that you have to use, and one of the greatest words that he says, is the word and, A-N-D. So when you use and, it's like you're adding more to your understanding. So you say to do more and more with less and less. So this is how you're supposed to understand the whole concept of leverage. So you use these different words, like the words that you say to yourself. There's a part in this book where you're speaking about how when you predict the future, when you're talking about the future, you're essentially telling a lie because you can't prove that what you're saying is going to happen. So what he's saying is that when you're talking about something that is happening in the future, you're essentially using words that are not yet true. So they're technically lies. So you have to use these lies in a way that is not deceptive, but that is formed of belief. Remember, when you spell the word belief, it's B-E-L-I-E-F. Lieve, which has lie in it. So whatever you believe is sort of a lie. So it becomes the lie. So yeah, it's just funny etymology, but then that is exactly what it is. It's a B and a lie and a VE. So it is to be alive and is to be the lie that lives. So here he's saying that you're not supposed to deceive, because what happens is when you're an honest person, what you end up saying, which is not yet true, will become true because of your own integrity. Since you're always speaking the truth, since you always speak life, what you say, even when it's not yet alive, like Lazarus, wake up, it becomes true because you, in essence, are a truthful person. So this is how the belief system works. So this is something that he was speaking of in terms of the content, the context, and the capacity, in terms of the leverage of the mind, in terms of the leverage of the words. So it's all intertwined. So he speaks about earning different types of income, and the most important type of income that you're gonna earn is gonna come from portfolio income and from passive income instead of earned income, which is the third income. There are different types of income, but these three are the most common ones. So what you need to do is to earn the portfolio income, or the paper, or to get paper and financial assets. So there's actually a part where he speaks about the different ways that you can actually earn this type of income, doing stuff like trading and transactions, like forex trading, whatever, options trading, equity trading, and things like that. So he actually goes into some of the patterns that he uses, and he goes into some of the methods that he uses in order to protect his capital, and some of the strategies that he uses in order to trade. Okay, so yeah, he speaks about like some chart patterns and things like that. But importantly, he speaks about financial management, how to manage the actual capital, which is having a stop loss, which is the most important thing that a person has to understand. He speaks about risk-reward ratio. This is important. And so he speaks about real estate as his staple, because that's more or less what he's actually based on. The other things he dabbles in. So real estate gives you passive income, and financial instruments give you portfolio income. So in the end, you wanna be able to move further and further away from what we call earned income and develop wealth. This is how you retire young and retire rich. And you're supposed to be able to understand how to use debt and equity in your advantage. So using equity is using like your stake, your own money. Using debt is using someone else's money, like a bank's money. So when you're able to use equity and debt to your favor, so what you're supposed to do is to get debt in order to build equity. So you have good debt, you have bad debt. So this is how you start to develop this and lead yourself to retire young and retire rich. So the thing that I really loved about this book, and it comes right in the end when they're in Fiji with his wife, and this is where the whole picture on the cover of the book where they're on the horses is taken from. So they're outside, and they see the sunset. But then the next morning he wakes up, and then when he wakes up, it's like he feels his whole body awaken to this new reality. He explains it like he felt an earthquake, a tremor in his body. And the way that I saw it is that it's like his chakras were opening, his energy centers were opening, his essence was awakened. And this is what we call actualization. And the whole concept of this book is centered on this self-actualization. On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you see that a person will ascend in different stages in order to get to a state or a point where his dreams and his reality are now the same thing. They're not fantasy anymore. So this is something that he was striving for all of his life. And then he gets this awakening on top of a mountain in Fiji. So in essence, the whole book is tied into this whole concept that it's all about what you enjoy, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, what your talents are. that you want to actualize in your life and to make a reality. But you have to be able to escape this whole 9 to 5 thing and start building your portfolio, start building your real estate, start acquiring assets and leverage them. You do more and more with less and less. And this is how you become richer and richer. This is how the rich become richer and the poor keep on staying poor, because the poor keep on doing less with less and getting less. But then the rich keep on doing more with less and getting more. So this was something that really captivated me, and it's right in the end of the book where he's just with his wife and they're just alone on this private island, right? Because they have that much money, and this is just the journey of his life and his own ascension into his own reality. Into his own reality. So you also have your own reality, and how you get there is really, really up to you. But this book is really powerful in that essence, and it's all about how you understand your gifts and your calling and how you want to express it. Everyone has this capacity. It's not just him, it's not just someone else who you see, but you also have this capacity. So the capacity is going to be because of your content and because of your context. So the more content you build, like in all you're getting, get knowledge and understanding. Like, no matter what, this is what you need. And this is why you're watching this. You're getting knowledge, you're getting some understanding, right? And you need context to put around it to know that you are actually capable of doing greater than you realize. And this is the context that you build. So some people have all of this knowledge, but then they're not able to actually do it because their context is wrong. What they say, the text is the word. So con is to contain, text is a word. So what they contain, the words that they contain, are not the right words. So remember, words are a tool, and this tool is your leverage. So just lever it up, and you reach different levels. So I really hope that you enjoyed this, and if you want to get this book, get it. And if you just want to check some other cool stuff in the links below, just do so. And just know that your future is created today.